Welcome, lovely Balkan Show fans. Welcome to another format of Balkan Show with Onat and me, when Onat and I have an outtake on some specific topics in the Balkans in a really short format and just having fun, basically. So,
Hello,
Onat,
selam.
merhaba, selam,
Zdravo.
zdravo, bună ziua, pešindeti, zdraviti. I didn't prepare this time, but I think I got this right now. And Yasu from our Greek fans. Onat, what's our topic today?
Today it's a special day, especially in Turkey, because we have local elections this time. So I thought it would be a good time for speaking about the politics in Balkans.
Politics in the Balkans, the most favorite pastime of every average person in the Balkans. Everybody knows about the politics, and basically nobody knows actually for sure what it means and what it is in the background. Great, great,
As
great.
always.
Yeah. What is the first time that comes to your mind when somebody says politics, especially in terms comes to Turkey, Balkans, this region?
Corruption.
I was having the same thing, completely the same thing. I don't know if
I
it's the
was I
world.
was talk I was thinking like Erdogan, but they're like synonyms. So
Completely the same thing. I don't know if it's like worldwide thing that when you mention politics, it's always corruption, and people go to universities about this. So I'm like thinking, do they have like a specific subject, like you taught about a constitution, I don't know, rights, blah blah, and corruption? They taught you how to receive like bribe and stuff, and like how to push the agendas whatsoever. If not, they should have it because some people are good at it, some are really bad at it. So you should hide it as much as possible.
yeah,
Or
because it's an art.
it's an
It is
art.
not a it's not an easy thing
Yeah,
to
you need
get a
to
bribe.
artists do it for years and years, getting better and better. Hopefully, raising the bar of you're seeing the bribe. Yeah, yeah, that's the dream. That's the goal. Yeah, I don't know if it's like you could say for I guess say for myself in ex Yugoslav, as you see the some of our audience, the flag of Yugoslavia. The point of this flag is the meaning. I need to share it. It's written in Serbo-Croatian "Raspadam se," which means I'm falling apart. So whenever you have like a bad day or like hangover, you wear this shirt and it's dissolved and falling apart Yugoslavia. Oh, I know your state of the mind and body or whatsoever. So speaking about Yugoslavia, so when everybody's doing politics, usually those guys, so bottom to top are thugs, thugs or individuals that think they can change stuff, but then don't do it yet, or they think they are changing, or they become evil. So I guess the same thing in Turkey, more or less.
Well, we didn't see anyone who can change yet, but we have few candidates that might
That
change
might change.
the system. But that's an obvious thing that will also be corrupted at the end.
Mm,
But we
it's
want our people to be corrupted a bit.
to get the benefits, like the
Yeah,
regular people to
it's
get
our
the
turn
benefits,
now. It's been too long.
not the political elites, but the regular people. Yeah. Yeah, it's called like a natural wealth, so to say, of people of society to be spread out equally, which is again a dream. But yeah, I'm thinking of this explanation, or actually, it's a quote from Dark Knight Rises Batman. You either
Uh-huh.
live long enough to become, you either get killed or live long enough to become a villain yourself. Something like that. Please, our audience, correct me, write the right one, but basically it's the same case with politics in the Balkans. Worldwide, it's sort of saying or similar depending of the countries,
Mhm.
west or east. But in the Balkans, yeah, I know a couple of examples that were good at the beginning, and in the end, yeah, they didn't get killed basically, and you get the understanding what happened with them later on. So it's a really tough thing. And the cool thing is that you and I noticed throughout the years that all of the local politicians and the top ones, they more or less look the same, not just how
they
they
ha-
behave. Yeah, right.
they have some patterns and
Some patterns
fashion.
of behavior in fashion, like stylists. Like, I'll go to this dictator stylist. His ancestors were doing this for Stalin and some other guys, and now we do this for the local ones here. Same patterns of dressing. So people say they have the same methods of stealing the votes, ruling, blah blah. But if you pay close attention, they also have the same pattern of clothing. So it's just insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also about the stealing votes. There's a thing I noticed. They don't believe afterlife
Okay.
because they get votes from the dead people.
That's what you meant. True, true. I mean, I know for Serbia, for instance, lots of lists of voters are basically not updated. They still have dead people voting afterwards.
Hmm.
And I love this sketch that some people did. They were dressed as zombies walking the streets, holding the signs and saying, "Please don't wake me up again for this shit," or something like this. Nothing ever changes. We cannot make the change. So they were the zombie opposition, basically, in some sense. It's like, those ones they don't get called so easily. Yeah, they
Well,
get
they can
up
also
on
defend
themselves.
themselves that we are really democratic. We are even care about that people's opinion.
Yeah, you see, everybody counts. Everybody's opinion counts, especially the elderly people. There's such a
Yeah, they
yeah,
they have a lot of wisdom.
a lot of wisdom that for some reason doesn't appear. It's just stick aside and then emotions pop up and just show. I mean, I understand, especially in the Balkans where elderly people are not so like elderly people in the West, in Germany or some other Nordic country where they have like a lot big pensions and they enjoy life and they don't care about stuff. Here, basically, it's a survival mode, unfortunately. And on top of
Yeah,
that, your children, grandchildren, don't pay attention to you as much as they should, and some guy on the TV says, "Hey, I care for you. You're the one I care the most of." And like, and their eyes just glow. I'm like, yeah, this is the one. This is my grandchild. I would like to have like this one. And I gotta get everything to this one. And yeah, and it just goes
yeah.
circle
For
and circle.
some reason, some politicians have the real love from grannies, nannies, like,
Yeah, they think of them,
and they won.
young meat.
Whoever get their votes, they won.
Oh, really? So that's you have this oracles in the Delphis in the Greece. They had some oracles in the Egypt and stuff. Go to all elderly women and they'll say you who will be doing this and this in the future. No, you go to just random granny and say who you're gonna vote for. Oh, so this is the future president, prime minister, or party in power. So yeah, such a
Yeah,
generic
this.
way. Yeah, but and I'm curious about how much they're focused on this elderly group and how much they don't basically give a fuck about the younger people. They say they do. In practice, they're like, okay, we're gonna manipulate you to some extent. Like, you cannot vote in this city because you're a student from this city. So, they're just trying to make it their lives harder, or like also bribing, not bribing, but in a sense like, hey, do this. You're gonna have 100 euros next year for this, or this gonna be stuff for you, or join our party, then we promise you job after you finish studies, blah blah. But not trying to win their hearts. For grannies and grandfathers, it's easy to win their hearts, more or less. It's an easy win. But for young people, no, no, do it in a way that just force them to vote for you.
Yeah, because they're the young people are not emotionally stable. They might change their. It would be a waste of money to spend on them.
Correct. Actually,
Once
lots
they
of
get
people,
older,
yeah, lots of them they
they will be
did.
target.
Oh, correct. Yeah, on time. Because people change eventually in their minds. I know, like, especially elderly people coming back to them. I know a lot of elderly people that during when I was growing up, they were like 40s, 50s, and stuff. They're like really progressive mindsets and stuff and liberal. And as they get older, the guy with the black hoodie and the skeleton's face is approaching. So like, fuck, I should go back to God and stuff. Oh, and God usually equals to conservatism. Conservatism equals to like, oh, look at this politician. Yeah, he was a nationalist before. He stole stuff and stuff, but now maybe he's a different guy. Yeah, I'll vote for this guy. That's how it works, and the game is such easy. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that sometimes, like how I will vote when I get older.
Put some notes now for the Onat in the future. Hey, Onat, I know you're gonna change, but please think about the stuff we did when you were younger. Please, don't give up those values. Yeah, you never know. There are also some cool exceptions, like older people I see on the camera, like, yeah, they do this shit, but I'm older. I don't know this. I don't need this stuff that you're offering me, like this free vitamins and stuff. Just do this thing good for my grandchildren and stuff. Okay, there are some good exceptions, but not so much. There's one old guy. I love him, like from Zagreb, from Croatia. It was like a TV reporter on. It's not about the politics, but I like the
Hmm.
mindset. he approached some reporter approached him and asked him so something like how do you live these days, do you practice and stuff, like yeah, I'm like 80 something, I do sports every day and stuff. Look at those other older people, they say ah my elbow hurts, my head hurts, this hurts. And then he cursed like go to your mother's go and practice, do something, like look at me, look how healthy I am, like change the mindset and something like that. And that should be like the case for other elderly people, despite how bad their growing up was and stuff, like especially in the Balkans, everything is stressful, everything goes in a really hard way. So I understand why people have frustrations and disappointments later in their lives.
Yeah.
It is, but current situation just prolonging this for other generations to have the same thing as they did.
The funny thing in Turkey, the street interviews are really popular now on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
especially. Whoever has the camera can go out and do like
Mm.
who you're gonna vote this election, like those kind of questions, and you can really see the stereotypes and who is going to vote for who. And
Mm.
sometimes, for example, a very conservative people with like long beard, with like outfit and stuff, and he's speaking like
Bob Marley, progressive.
better than any opposition,
Okay.
and people start loving him and
Uh-huh.
being popular. Like, you are the man, you are the man, you are the guy who we need, like that.
Yeah, he is the future leader of the opposition. He is like one guy
And
was
he can get votes from the conservatives as well.
you see, he's having the both sides of the spectrum. That's perfect. I know one guy was like the dictator of Serbia. I may call him like this. He was visiting some village somewhere, and the local guy they dressed him for some reason like a construction worker to be protected because there was some construction work around him, and he was complaining in front of the cameras on national TV. Look how bad this thing is. Look how you made this thing, and in front of his face, and people were like, wow, this guy. And there was some guy making joke in the middle of the interview. He stopped and said like later on in the editing, he said, oh, this is the future position, this is the guy we need him, he can say to his face and stuff. And like they come up to the original video and the guy just changed the topic like you see how bad it was, but I know it's not your fault, it's these cronies that you have, you're the best, you're the like so the leader opposition was there for 5 seconds and he lost him.
It's also in the case in the Erdogan, like whoever complain about things and supports Erdogan thinks like he's good, he's good. People around him, like
That's at the beginning of the dictatorship of Serbia. That's what I had, like because it was 12 years ago, much younger than today. I didn't think so much straight as I
mhm,
am today. Not that I'm better right now, much more, but nevertheless, I was thinking, is he so much good that other ones are so bad and then he sticks out, or he does this intentionally? He wants to have this people that are incompetent around him, so the
yeah,
focus of the government or the people will be like, look how bad those guys is, he is really good, it's not his fault, it's their fault. And obviously, as he does it, Erdogan does it, Orban does it, other leaders in the Balkans do this. So their goal is not to have like competent people around them, but to have as less competent as possible, but being able to listen to him, no questions about it.
mhm.
His image is better and they are worse. And you see, it's not my fault, it's those assholes, but I can fix it, don't worry. And like years and years and years, nothing changes, but still, I can fix it, don't worry. I'm the savior, I'm the messiah. We start speaking about politics, but we end up in dictatorships, which more or less is the case in the Balkans. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is like connected issues.
Con-
When was the
connect.
last elections in Serbia? You voted, I remember.
Yeah, in December 23, but it was obvious that he stole the votes. So much obvious that foreigners came and said it, and then he got the free, how can we say it, like a excuse. You see, foreign powers are meddling. They say it was not official, not that correct, and stuff and stuff. No, everything was okay. Everything is okay. He was saying this for weeks, and then suddenly one day, hey, there are gonna be re-elections again. No saying about what the reason behind it, just like people were against it because they obviously stole the votes, and like okay, but no explanation why they're going to be another elections like in a couple of months, meaning it was obvious that he stole votes and he could not hide it anymore, but he could not admit that he stole. He just like it just, oh well, look at the time, we're going to have again elections, why not, like it's obvious. And it's the same case like more or less as I heard what's going on in Albania, what was the case for 30 years in Montenegro. on the local
Mm-hmm.
governments in Bosnia, in Serbia, Bulgaria, not so much, Romania, not so much, Macedonia. It's just a shit show there. I cannot even say how it goes. At least to some extent, it looks like the Greece itself has some way of democratic leaning and changing governments. Croatia itself is a really specific example, I may say. In Croatia, we have two parties, which are basically the same thing, just with different faces.
Mm-hmm.
One is like left, one is right, but in the end, they're both populist, and they just change. And people are like, "Why should I vote for these guys? The same as the other ones." But the other side, the positive side is you don't have only one option, as you do in many countries in the Balkans. This when you have two
Mm-hmm.
options, which is still bad, but at least when third party appears, then those two are competing each other to have the better offer than the third option in order for a third option not to get involved. So meaning at some point people are getting some progress. Of course, when you ask the people in Croatia, it's really bad, you're not progressing. But when you compare to the really worse than you, when you have only one option, it's
Yeah.
to some extent better. But yeah, it's in the end, so it is. I never, even when I look through the history books talking about democratic movements and democracy and having a democratic system as in the West, which is still has lots of flaws. I hate when
Mm-hmm.
people say, "You think here is so much worse than the West? Look what they're doing in the West." That yeah, it's not good. I know, but would you like to have at least system where you can change the party which you don't like eventually, or just stick with the one and not having anything to say it against it? Even if you do, nothing will be changed. And say,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds better in theory. Okay, let's start with theory. Let's start with theory. Okay, at least we agree with this. That's a good progress. Let's make the next step. But yeah,
The other one is not good in practice.
provenly not good in practice, of course. So to wrap this thing short, Ona, do you see any clear or at least bright future for the Balkans, Turkey, and all the countries there?
No.
Such optimistic, such a motivational speaker potential. I
I
see
mean,
here.
I don't see any democratic developments in general in the world. It's all going backwards. I mean, I I feel like there will be a system change, not in a good way, but some the system will change, I guess, in general.
Mm.
And I don't know what we will see in the future, but uh, maybe like more feature it will be good, but for the
A distant future. Uh
uh,
huh.
yeah.
Yeah, in the short future,
And I
I'm.
am not like a pessimist.
Mhm.
It is like it's because I accepted that. I see it as a fact. It's not a bad uh, fortune telling for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're being realistic. I also don't see it changing for better anytime soon, drastically speaking.
Hmm.
In the long term, I'm also like being a bit skeptical. I'd like at least give our best, not to give up,
Hmm.
at least. But I'm also like having this in the back of my head, this fear of leaning towards this famous movie from the US, this Idiocracy,
Hmm.
where like basically people with no brains gonna really, I mean, which is basically present day. So to some extent,
Yeah.
at least the guy on the top has some brains to work with his cronies. But it's like a guy like Hulk Hogan is gonna be like, the wrestler will be the president, and the other guys around him will don't know even to read or write
Hmm.
in the next 100 years or so. Maybe not drastically, but if it continues being like this, yeah, I would not be surprised if I lived through it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I do believe, for example, Erdogan might go, Vucic might go,
Hmm.
but in general, I don't see positive things from people. I mean, in
Mm.
general, the people
Yeah, yeah,
who vote, uh, that's they are the problem,
yeah, yeah. Of
and they're
course.
not going in a good direction.
Mm.
So
Oof.
they will go. Someone bright might come, but he will also be corrupted, or she will be corrupted.
Mm. Yeah, that's in that sense it should be nurtured to us as people, not they or us, like us in general, both sides or three sides or all the
Hmm.
sides. You should all have this nurture and at least this have this, I would say, like democratic education. Like what should a democratic system look like? Democratic system itself, we should also admit, is filled with flaws.
Mm-hmm.
but at least, and in the future, so in the past we had like slavery, which was also a political system. Then we had monarchies, we still have to some extent, but not absolute as before. We had feudal system, we had capitalism, communism. So there's an economic political system, but speak about political systems, who says that this one will last for a longer period? It will change, but as long as we think of us, okay, there's gonna always be a plurality and minority, but plural
Mm-hmm.
majority and minority. But let's think about having something of what we also, if we won, like we won 51%, we should not say we are the ones ruling over this 49%. All you guys are shit. We don't care about you. Let's care about all of us. Nevertheless, who wins in the end? That will be at
Yeah.
least a good progress. If we achieve this thing, it will be at least something good. Hopefully. Not that
Hopefully.
we're prophets right now, but that's some wishful thinking, and that's it for us from our side.
Yeah, we will leave anyway.
Hopefully, that's what that we hope as well. Yeah. Oh shit, the comment is coming. Thank you, Balkan Show fans. I hope you like this bit. Stay tuned. Hopefully, this is gonna be stay again talking about hopefully a standard bit from week to week. And yeah, please like us what you know. Let us know if you have some topic for us to talk about. And yeah, feel free to yeah, give us a call. Yeah.
Goodbye. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye, one. Ciao, ciao.
Forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget to actually, yeah, please. Yeah. See ya. Bye bye.